Welcome back to part 8 of Nobles Club 71 Churchill. This part's going to be purely a review of progress to date, so if you just want to see gameplay, you can skip it, basically. I'm just going to be looking at what we've progressed to so far. Okay, so let's talk about our situation. So it is 1 AD. We have 5 cities and a couple of settlers on the way. The largest AI has 6 cities, the smallest AI has 3 cities. So we're pretty competitive in terms of number of cities. We also have a number of city sites here, 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 and here, which we are basically the only one in a good position to exploit. Though the Indians are starting to appear down here, and I will want to start claiming this territory pretty soon, but that is why we have 2 settlers on the way. Okay, now the reason that I have expanded eastward, as I said before, rather than expanding westward, is that this was the direction I could see AIs, and I knew that I had some time to claim the west, so I went east first. We've got down, as you can see, to here. We could probably squeeze in another city over here if Mansa doesn't finally grab a 5th city of his own up there. And I mean, there's even potential to put one here and one here, and you know, I mean, even here eventually, if no one else does. I'm kind of hoping that sooner or later these other guys are going to expand up into here, but neither the Mongols nor the Milanese seem to be doing much in the way of exploration, and they are the 2 civs that I kind of have actually managed to make contact with. I will soon be opening a trade route into Mansa's territory, which will hopefully help the income situation. Speaking of the income, we're basically breaking even somewhere between 50 and 60%. Perfectly happy with that. More importantly, however, than the raw percentage number, sorry, wrong, oh, no, wrong one again. More importantly, however, is really the overall situation you're in. And the important thing to see here, basically, you know, is that between research and gold, we're generating over 100 commerce in a turn. 26 gold, 76 research. And obviously, if we drop it, the numbers change. But the overall total of sort of 102 doesn't change. And, I mean, 100 at 1 AD is pretty reasonable. It's not amazing, but it's a solid basis on which to progress. Which brings us to the AIs. So currently, as you can see, apart from Roosevelt, who we declared war on in order to make Montezuma like us, and as you can see, we do have now a +1 from our mutual military struggle, which will hopefully continue to increase. Everybody is cautious with us. They have no real concern. The good news is that almost everybody else has somebody who dislikes them. It's excellent. It's what we like to see. Always good to have the AIs upset with one another, particularly when they border one another. Basically, in terms of when the AI is working out who to declare on, the most important things basically whether you're a land target, so whether you have sort of 8 or more tiles that border one another, and then how they feel about you. So if there's nobody else who's a land target, you're probably going to be it. If there is somebody else who's a land target and relations with them are better than with you, and better there means class, so annoyed versus cautious rather than +1 versus +3, then they're going to be it. There's a lot more to it. There is a thread on the Civ Fanatics boards if you want to get into it, but realistically, those are the 2 things to look for. The overall furious, annoyed, cautious, pleased or friendly, and even more importantly, does this guy share a long border with me? Because if they do, and you're on the same continent as their capital, yeah, you should be watching out. Okay, let's look at our tech situation. Well, nobody has anything that we don't have, and we have something on everyone. I think that pretty much, you know, tells you how the tech situation is going. I know with Hattie it only shows ironworking as something that we have, but I mean, you know, we also have Code of Laws and Aesthetics and Alphabet on her. They just haven't popped up because basically I've only just traded with her. They will shortly pop up. But nobody has anything we don't have. We're well in the lead, technologically speaking. Power level, well, of the 3 AIs we can see, we're stronger than all of them. I'm really not sure what's going on with Genghis. 3 cities and no army is very, very strange. Now, in terms of our actual army, realistically, you know, we've got a couple of axemen extra on. You know, we've got an axeman in every city, basically, and a couple of extras. We really don't have a lot, and we don't really need a lot. And the reason we don't really need a lot, and this is probably the most important thing to think about if you are struggling at Noble, is that number of cities matters less, particularly in the early game, than quality of cities. If you watch some of the higher level players, like Absolute Zero or the Mean team, they will often start wars when they only have 2 or 3 cities and the AI has 6 or 7 or 8, and they'll win. And it's because they have good cities and they are managing their production really well, and they're producing large numbers of units very, very fast, using slavery and chopping to do so. And that's all about workers, and having good cities is all about workers. There's a truism on the Civ Fanatics boards that you need 1.5 workers per city. You know, and that's a good rule of thumb, but the thing basically to remember is you need enough workers that as you are settling cities, you are rapidly improving the tiles around those cities, and you're not working lots of unimproved tiles. So if we look at my cities, you know, I mean, here we are. London's got plenty of improved tiles that I'm not working, but I'm not working any unimproved tiles. I'm working the fish, I'm working the floodplains cottage, I'm working the copper. I could, at this point, stop running these 2 scientists and start working some other tiles, and in fact, now that I've got my academy, I'm probably going to do that, but as I said, no gameplay in this set, so I won't do it now. Okay, York is basically going to be a production city. It's got lots of hills that it can work, and it's also got lots of riverside. Now riverside is great for levies later in the game, which is bonus to production, and it's also not bad for a little bit of extra commerce. I've basically succumbed to the temptation to put cottages on floodplains because I love to do that, but I have farmed all of those other grassland tiles because I want to have extra food to fund basically putting mines on all these hills and really making this a production pump. This will probably end up being my heroic epic city once I have a level 4 unit. Okay, next city. Yep, hurry up. That's it. Nottingham. Nottingham is probably going to be a great person site. Again, I've got farmed tiles, and as soon as I have civil service in, I will be spreading irrigation. If I put an irrigation into this tile here, that'll give me another +1 food here. I'll be able to irrigate these grassland tiles and get 3 food on them as well. I'll be able to have a few hills for production as well, but the main thing will be to get the number of specialists in this city up. Okay, so here we are. See, I'm failing because I am running on unimproved tiles here. So I need to get a worker up here as soon as possible, and you can see that this city, whilst it's contributing, it is actually costing me slightly more than it's bringing in gold, though it is contributing 6 beakers. I do have workers in this area, and I will be building more cottages here. This will basically be a commerce site. It's not really strong for anything else. I have farmed here specifically so that I can farm here and chain irrigation to the corn, but apart from that, we'll probably be going with a fair number of cottages. So mostly a cottage and commerce site. This is another commerce site, definitely. 4 calendar resources means lots of commerce and food from the bananas. and lots of riverside cottages once I clear all of that pesky jungle out of the way. This is why there are 2 or 3 workers down here from the very moment this city came online, clearing out tiles so that I get some production going. Not production, commerce, sorry. And we're back to our capital. So as you can see, I'm trying to a certain extent to focus each of my cities. It's a production city, or it's a commerce city, or it's a great person city. My capital is pretty much my only sort of hybrid city with a bit of commerce and a bit of production. That's generally a fairly common strategy, particularly because bureaucracy will boost your capital's production and commerce, so you want to have good amounts of both in there. Okay, in terms of other sites that I got picked out, I've got an axe here. This will be a fairly strong production site once it comes online. It will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hills and an iron mine, plus plenty of irrigatable grassland to support the production that comes out. So that'll be a good, strong production site, a second unit pump for me. And I might, as I said, sneak a city up here. It's not going to be great, but it will pick up the pigs, and I can put in cottages here and get some reasonable commerce out of it, and maybe eventually, as I said, spread down here, pick up a second source of marble and those fish, that sort of thing. Over on this side, I'm going to put in a city here. That'll have 2 hills, one of which has iron. So it'll be reasonable, sort of, 3 hills, sorry, there was another one down here. That'll be a fair... Oh, 4. 4 cities. Yeah, so that will definitely be a production site. We'll go here. This will be quite a strong site for food, because it has 2 fish. So may look at creating a second great person farm there, given that I can support a lot of population just on those 2 tiles. It'll also allow me to pick up stone, which will be useful for wonders. Down here, definitely a commerce site. 2 gems, absolutely a commerce site. Lots and lots of cottages, windmills on the hills, just max out the commerce. And then here, hill, horses, cows, good commerce. Picks up another calendar resource here as well. And then finally down the bottom, probably a commerce site. Basically, it'll mostly be working coastal tiles and that rice. So probably another commerce site. So that's basically what I'm planning with my cities. That's where we are at 1AD. Well in the lead technologically speaking. Still haven't adopted a religion, though we founded 2. I'm hoping that when I find something, I now know where the Mongolians are, so I can spread a religion to them and hopefully get them to adopt another religion, keep them out of the emerging potential Jewish bloc that's there, and create some strife between the AIs. But right now things are looking pretty good with this game. We should comfortably win liberalism, get to redcoats, and really wreck some people. We may wreck the Mali before that. We may well do a Trebuchet and Maceman war on them, particularly if they continue to fail to expand beyond sort of their 4 cities. But no guarantees. Okay, that's it for this update. The next part will be more actual gameplay. See you then.